Hey guys, 1/4 Canadian here with a different kind of video than I normally do. Because you see, I find myself watching more intelligent game analysts, I guess would be a proper term for it. And I find myself enjoying that more than I do playthroughs, and I also find myself not being quite the best at playthroughs while I do have my moments, and mainly only being good at parts where I just play a random game for a little bit, but I don't have very many games I can do that consistently with other than GTA 4, and now that GTA 5 is out, it's kind of irrelevant. So I'll probably be doing this on my channel more, and on Frisch and Allies, since I only upload one video a week to that, will probably be where I do my gameplays. But anyway, on to my scripted game analysis. Many people say games are used as an escape from life. I would say something different than that. While I would say games are used to get away from everyday life, away from a crap job, bad day, or just a boring afternoon, and into a world where every day is great and your job is killing orcs, and the afternoon, it's really hard for those to be boring because they only last 30 minutes. But I would say nowadays they're being used for something more than that. Well, yes, that is what they used to be used for, and before they had little to no story, and if there was a narrative, it was only to serve the masturbatory purpose for telling you why you're going around and killing people. And there was no underlining message. It was basically like abstract art. It looks cool, but there's no real purpose behind it, nothing it's trying to tell you. But now games aren't just an escape from life. I say they're far more than that. They're used to explore life. Because now we have games that explore morality, present satire of American society, and tell of the human nature. And Hotline Miami is a great example of this. The game's narrative attempts to show what it's like to be a psychopath and draws parallel between the main character and the player. In Hotline Miami, the main character, popularly named Jacket, is a psychopath. And to him, all the enemies are nameless, faceless toys made for his amusement, who stop existing as soon as he stops seeing them. Starting to see some similarities. Even the level complete scenes, which just show Jacket walking through a room full of dead people while listening to ambient music, shows us you walk through slightly weirded out, but mostly disconnected from the experience. You just killed like 30 guys, and all you're thinking is, well, I killed them, level's over, guess I should go on to the next level and kill some more. Which is the same weird thing we do with every single level in every single game, and the same thing psychopaths do when they just go on a murder spree. And his masks are also metaphors. Throughout the game, you unlock animal masks, which give you special abilities, and while they obviously do serve mechanical purposes, they're also narrative forms, and they present metaphors. And what the metaphor is he loses his humanity when he wears them. He's no longer human, he's an animal. He doesn't have to face responsibility or accountability for what he does. And it's the same reason that all the animal masks have names. He can just say, I didn't do anything. Richard killed all those people. And the game's narrative is mainly show parallels between yourself and the game's characters and you while you're playing the game, which isn't exactly a real world situation. It does show you what it's like to be a psychopath by showing you what you're like when you're playing a game, which is some real world stuff right there. And GTA, the entire narrative is a satire of how lazy, celebrity obsessed, and morally bankrupt our country is. Everyone in the game is morally reprehensible. You play one of the main characters is a guy who is rich but is completely discontent with his life because his wife cheats on him. his son's a lazy prick, and his daughter's a slut. Which is completely good reasons, but even though he's rich, he finds no content in life. Not saying that richness should be a source of contentment, but he's just searching for more money to find content or thrill. The other main character, Franklin, he's from the ghetto, and he's trying to get out of the whole, low-life thug crime, but instead what he ends up doing is getting into higher-end crime. And the other one, what's his name? The psychopath character, he's just that. He doesn't give a damn about anyone other than himself. And, well, no, he is loyal like a dog. But he does whatever he wants and kills anybody whenever he wants. And it completely fits in with the narrative. And another game that serves the purpose of showing the human condition is The Last of Us, one of the last big PS3 exclusives. It shows an ugly part of the human nature that people normally don't want to look at. And I'm gonna put a spoiler about the story right here. I'll put an annotation, and for those of you who are watching it mobile, a little text thing in the video so you can see where to skip to. But I'm gonna be very lazy in my explanation of this, so it's not gonna make complete sense unless you played the game, but it more or less fills it in. It starts out with Joel. Well, no, it starts out before this, but this is where I'm explaining it. It starts out with Joel and his friend. Both are terrible people who care about no one other than themselves or each other. And Joel's friend dies because she becomes infected and decides to risk her life to save her and a girl that they've been contracted to bring to this one place where they will churn her blood into a cure since she's immune. And since she's dying, because of the virus, she wants Joel to bring the girl to be the cure, since she actually does have some care, even though she lets off as if she doesn't. So then, just because it was her dying wish, and not because he actually has any moral fibers, he brings her, and throughout the experience, he grows to care about her. And then when they finally get to the place, you and the character, Joel, finds out that, they're gonna have to kill her to get the cure. So instead of doing the right thing, which you think he's gonna do and just let her survive, he does what is a twist on the normal hero saves girl thing and turns into a monstrous act where he kills all the people in order to selfishly save his friend. And in essence damns humanity, and then lies to the girl about him doing it, because he tells her that there were other people that were immune and that they couldn't find a way to make a cure. And he starts out a piece of shit in the beginning of the game, and he ends a piece of shit. That's the entire moral of the game, and it's amazing. Many people didn't like the ending, but being somebody who writes short stories that don't have the best endings. In fact, one of mine ended with the guy killing himself. I love this, as it demonstrates human nature perfectly. People don't just change because they go on adventures, and while people can change, more often than not they don't. If they're a terrible person at the beginning of something, they're a terrible person at the end. And other games explore moral ambiguity and choice, like The Walking Dead. There's no real right choice. Everything has consequences. Everything is a bad decision. While some can help you more than others, there's no real insight on knowing how, so there's no real moral way to differentiate. And while there are some which are obviously bad choices and some are good, for the most part they're not. From choosing who to give food to when you only have 3 pieces of food. There's no right decision. You just have to choose based on what you feel is right or what you feel best serves your own self. Or games like Spec Ops: The Line, which goes over topics of just blindly taking orders from some government official, and they just go around killing a bunch of people. And while it starts out your stereotypical military shooter, by the end you're left questioning, no, you're left being forced to know that what you did was wrong and that who you killed had lives. And I feel this is a great direction for games. This is how you show the youth what happens in life. You show them a fantasy realm where your choices make a difference and there is no real right answer. There's just what you thought was right at the time, and here's the consequences for what you do. Because that is what happens in real life. While not in the subpar standard American lifestyle where you just do your job at work and you pay for your family, this is where you're in charge of the job and you have to let go of hundreds of people in order to keep the rest of the people for more than a week. And this is where I feel games are going and should go, as I already stated, because it's freaking amazing. Anyway, I know this is probably not the best intelligent game analysis that you've ever heard, but it's my first, and a lot of this was ad-libbing, because normally what's the word I'm looking for? I articulate better when I'm writing, but in this case I didn't. I just couldn't, and due to my subconscious want to get this video out before the weekend is over, because my parents don't let me play on the weekdays, I only gave myself 20 minutes to write it, which is why most of this was ad-libbed. Also, because for some reason I had to stare at my mic instead of staring at the script I have in front of me. Anyway, I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Remember to comment, to like, to subscribe, to favorite, and also to comment and tell me what I can do better in my videos. Critique it. Give me some constructive criticism. I really need it, as you could tell if you did stick through the entire thing. But yeah, see you in the next video.